Hey, everybody out there. This is Justin Chamness here, Real Estate Wholesalers Club. We're diving in tonight to the second session. This is session number 2 of Master the Phone to Get Property Deals 2.0. I'm so glad everybody's here tonight. We had a good session last week. And we've got several people here in the Zoom room here with us. Grace Saves. I'm guessing that might be Debbie.
Yep.
Okay.
It is. I didn't know it was going to do that.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're here, Debbie. And we also have Aisha and Ginger. We have a strong female show tonight. That's great. I'm loving it. This isn't being broadcast anywhere. It's only going on this is an exclusive VIP event. So this is not on YouTube anyplace. I want you guys to feel free to unmute your microphones and participate with me. Turn your cameras on if you can. And let's just make this a lot of fun. And let's learn diving into how to get deals over the phone. All right. Last week, we talked a little bit about getting started in mastering the phone. And I want to recap just briefly what we shared a little bit last week. So let me go ahead and share screens. And you can see we talked last week about the 3 things that you must have to succeed in real estate investing. We talked about strategies or techniques. What do we mean when we say that? We mean, are you equipped and able to do a lease option on a pretty house? What if you get an ugly house lead? Are you in a position to be able to do that? Okay. What about a subject to? Okay. What about all the other strategies we mentioned? Okay. You cannot master them all. And in fact, all real estate investors everywhere are employing the same strategies. Typically, it's just a handful of strategies that we're all using. So how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we make our business successful when we're doing the same exact things that other real estate investors and real estate investment companies are doing? How do we stand out? That's a great question. You know, it's not about that. These are tools we mentioned last week, tools that fit in your real estate wholesaler toolbox. Okay. That's all. So look at them like tools. You should have a couple tools in your toolbox. All right. A couple tools, at least. If you ever had to work on a car. Now, if you worked on an old car, it's not that way so much, right? But a new car or a newer car, meaning late 90s, early 2000s, and it starts getting more complicated and then more complicated and more complicated. And now they're built by NASA. Okay. So you can't hardly do a lot of stuff to cars nowadays on your own, like you could under the shade tree mechanic, right? Concepts. Well, in real estate, there's just a few tools. If you had a pretty house tool for people that have no equity, you also have an ugly house tool, you're pretty well equipped for the job. Okay. Because you're going to run into a few types of leads. One's going to be a pretty house deal where the equity isn't enough for it to be an ugly house deal, right? You're also going to run into ugly houses where you're going to have ugly houses and lots of equity. Okay. Occasionally you're going to run into a realtor or a broker. Occasionally you're going to run into a wholesaler. Okay. There's just a handful of things that can happen here. And the same handful of things are happening to everyone. All right. So the tools are tools. One hammer may be a little bit better than another at a different job, right? But a hammer's a hammer, nevertheless. Okay. So just have a hammer and have a pair of needle nose pliers in your toolbox, and you're pretty much ready for the job. A pretty house thing, a pretty house strategy and technique, or an ugly house strategy or technique. Okay. That way, no matter what you run across, you're able to do that. All right. That's what I do. Plus, I also have the ability to joint venture. Like I like to joint venture sometimes with folks. So if I call another wholesaler, guess what? That's an opportunity for me to offer a joint venture of some kind. All right. That's a third tool. Okay. That makes me a little bit, maybe a little bit better at this than a guy that only has one tool. Right. I can do more things. I can fix more parts on this car. Right. I can build my business a little bit quicker maybe because I have a few extra tools, these strategies and techniques. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about in this session. We're not talking about strategies and techniques. We talk about strategies and techniques all the time. What's the second thing you got to have in order to be a success in real estate? Marketing. We mentioned a bunch of places that you can market last week. Go back and listen to that, watch that video, because boom, you guys in the room, I bet you laid out 10, 12, 15 places that you can market your business in a matter of seconds. Boom, 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 seconds, done. Okay. But pretty much, you know, we're all kind of using, for the most part, the same things, right? We're using ringless voicemail. We're using text blasts. We're using postcards. We're using bandit signs. We're driving for dollars with Deal Machine. Okay, so what's going to make you stand out? Well, it's going to be hard to stand out here. These are really just methods. Strategies and techniques are tools. Marketing is really just kind of your personal and budgetary preferences. I recommend, if you're new, going to theautomatedrei.com because that's cheap, guys. It's freaking cheap. I just was over there yesterday on the daily Q&A session in the VIP here. I did a live demo. I picked 4 markets. I went in there and I pulled enough leads for a day. I started a scrape. That's $3.50, I think. I think it's less than $3. I think it was like $3. If you're getting started, you need a surplus of leads and you need to be able to get them dependent, you know, where you can depend on the schedule of it, right? Where you know you're going to have some leads. And you're also going to need it to be affordable, right? You don't need to, when you first start, go out and get a credit card, okay, and then go over and get Freedom Soft and organize a postcard drop of 3,000 to 5,000 postcards in your area when you've never had one seller phone call yet, right? That's not smart business. Let's start out where we are, and then we'll grow to that, okay? So I recommend the automated REI, and actually next week, on Tuesday, we're going to get into sending a text blast to those. Then my plan is actually in a subsequent VIP daily Q&A to actually sit down and do a pre-qualifier, like a VA pre-qualifier call on those live on the daily Q&A. And then I want to have a closer call, okay, with those leads. Will we get one? I don't know. It's just one day's worth of activity, not an entire month's. Okay. You don't get a deal here every day unless you got the numbers up, right? Marketing numbers. But marketing, there's a million things you could do. There's some things that are fads, here today, gone tomorrow. There's some things that have always been here. The big question is not what's the secret sauce here. The big question on marketing is are you doing it? Okay. It's not like, oh, I got to figure out something nobody's ever figured out, but you're going to be thinking for a long damn time, right? To try to come up with some marketing technique nobody ever thought of before, right? Because trust me, there's rooms of dudes all over every state just sitting around all day long and all night long. I'm one of them, and you are too, just thinking about this shit. You going to outthink us all? Oh, I wish you could. But marketing, that's not where you're probably going to be the superstar. You just need to do it, right? You need to do it. I recommend starting at theautomatedrei.com. Hey guys, I love to hear those kids. I'm all about families. And I love to hear those kids.
No, don't move back to the water. Don't get those shoes wet. Those are not water shoes.
Exactly. Yeah, you keep yourself out of the water, right?
Oh man, see, you know what? I thought I was on mute. Oh my gosh! My kids got to the backyard and started spraying each other with water, and oh man.
Oh my gosh, it's all right, Ty. Hey, I love you, man. I love the kids too.
Sorry.
It's all good, dude. So strategies and techniques. Okay, tools, marketing, just methods that you pick that you can afford, that you can consistently do. Right, that produces results. Leads, communications, phone skills. Third thing. This is the area where you can succeed. This is the area where you can excel and shine above and beyond all those other people that go to all the Robert Kiyosaki seminars and all of the Sean Terry seminars and all those people. How are you going to be better than them? Right here, number 3, communication and phone skills. And then last week, we talked about the 3 parts of the conversation. The agenda. We even role played the agenda a little bit. Okay, we're going to do that again here in just a couple minutes. The second stage of the qualification, of the conversation, is the qualification section. Okay. The third stage, the third step up, is the closing. Okay. Sorry, my steps are wonky. Actually, I've walked up and down a few staircases that were pretty wonky like that. So I guess it could be worse. The agenda section. Let's recap that really quickly. All right. And then we'll role play this. Last week, we talked about the 3 stages of the conversation, the agenda. I'll say it real quickly. Hi, my name is Justin. Oh, remember, we got to have tonality too here. Hi, my name is Justin. Are you sitting up straight? Are you smiling at all? That's a great question, y'all. If you're not smiling, it shows. Let me just demonstrate real quick. Hi, I'm Justin. I'm a real estate investor, and I'm looking for my next property deal. Okay, that was me not smiling. Now here's me smiling. Hi, I'm Justin. I'm a real estate investor, and I'm looking for my next property deal. Slight difference. Which do you naturally like better? Obviously the one where I'm sitting up and I've got some facial tension going on here. I'm smiling. I'm actively engaged, right? I used to have a boss that made me do this in front of a mirror. I hated that guy, but he's so right. So right. Okay. If you don't look like somebody we want to talk to, even over the phone, they pick it up. Okay. So tonality. All right. The agenda section. What's it about? Well, it's about 3 things. 1, it's a roadmap. Remember, you got to lay the roadmap. And that leads us to rule number 1. Rule number 1 is always set an agenda before you get into it deep with the homeowner. Okay? If you do not set an agenda, you're going into the conversation like a gunslinger, just shooting from the hip. Got to set the agenda, y'all. Every time. I know, Justin, but I get so tired of hearing myself say that same sentence. Good. That means you're getting good at it. Like literally. Pro athletes, musicians, people of stellar talent, they will tell you, if you ask them, they would say, you know you're getting good at a song. You know you're getting good at an athletic endeavor when it starts getting boring up here, because it's becoming muscle memory at this stage. And your mind no longer has to engage. You got to fight that a little bit. Sit up straight, smile. But always, 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 always set that agenda. Hi, my name is Justin. I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to pick up my next property deal. I saw this one online. I thought I would call you. I thought I would ask you a few questions. You can also ask me a few questions. And if it's not a good fit, it's okay if you fire me. That's the agenda. You're setting a roadmap. You are taking control of the conversation, setting the roadmap. Always, always, always. What's rule number 1? Always set the agenda before you get in deep. If you don't set the agenda before you get in deep, you will have that conversation going, and it'd be like trying to herd cats. And for some of you out there doing the phone work, if it feels like you're trying to herd cats and you're having a hard time getting the homeowner to go your direction at all, my bet is you're not setting the agenda. Always set the agenda. Always. This is the rule number 1. Okay. Because the agenda is a roadmap. Number 2, it always gives you permission to ask questions. Remember, you're asking, hey, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. You could ask me a few questions. You're getting permission to ask questions right here and now. This is the only permission you need. And so you can put the agenda in your own words. Just make sure you lay out the roadmap in whatever you say. Make sure that you're always asking for permission to ask them these questions that you're about to jump into. And always make sure you wrap it up by telling them that if they're not comfortable with something in this conversation, it's okay if they tell you to get lost. See, I just put it in my own words, but it means the same thing. Okay, so you don't have to say word for word. Hi, my name is Larry. I'm a real estate investor and I'm calling looking to get my next property deal. I saw yours online. It was interesting to me. And I thought, hey, I want to call and ask this guy a few questions. I wanted you to be able to ask me a few questions too, if you want. And, you know, if it's not a good fit, it's okay if you just tell me no. You don't have to say it word for word like that. All you have to do is say it and include the roadmap, get permission to ask questions, and let them know that if they're not comfortable with something, it's okay for them to fire you. This lowers the defenses. This makes it an adult conversation. And this also puts you in the driver's seat. Okay. Now, let's role play this agenda briefly before we dive into the qualification section. And we're going to dive into it hard tonight. And then we're going to get all the way through it. We're going to role play that. And then we're going to go into probably next week, taking the qualification stage up to the next notch where you are an assassin. Okay. Next week is going to be even bigger. But tonight we're going to really get into some steak, the meat. So who wants to role play with me here? We got a room full of people.
Ring, ring.
Ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, this is Harvey. I don't know how I got your number, but I think it's something about a home for sale.
Oh, yeah. I've got a house on Zillow.
Good. Do you have some time to talk about it right now?
Yeah, sure do.
Good, good. So just looking at the home, looking at your home online, just wanted to ask you a few questions. You can ask me a few questions just to see if it makes sense. If it doesn't, that's fine. Is that okay?
What do you think, guys?
Great job.
Did he lay out the roadmap? Yeah, he did. Did he ask for permission to ask these questions that he's about to jump into? Yeah, he did. He said he wanted to call and ask you some questions. And then he said, hey, if it's not a good fit, it's okay. You can just, I don't think you said you can tell me no, but you were right there at it. That's what you meant. I caught it. You put it in your own words. All right. Great job, Harvey. Great job. Now, rule number one is always do that. Always. Okay. All right. Excellent job. I'm going to share screens again, and let's jump right into this. Let's jump right into the whiteboard, and we're going to go over to the qualification section. The qualification section, remember, is the second stair into 3 steps. Okay. Right here, the agenda, the qualification, and the closing. The agenda, Harvey just showed us that he's proficient in the agenda. Harvey, you get an A+ with a gold star, sir. Now, the qualification section is where we're going to jump into now. Now, the qualification section is about what? Who can tell me what is the qualification section about? What is the main objective for you, the caller? Anybody have an idea?
Yes, to check this person is a prospect or a suspect, I guess.
Yeah, make sure they're not wasting your time.
Yeah. There's only one moving part to this entire business, and that's finding the motivated seller. That's it. In the qualification section, you are going to find that they have, or they have not, a motivation. All right. So the rule is it's one of my favorite rules. Somebody read that to me. What's that say? Oh, nobody wants to play with me.
You got 3 minutes to qualify or disqualify.
That's right. That's right. What if I said, you got 3 minutes or the world is going to end? We all know that wouldn't be true. But what if I said, you got 3 minutes, and if you do not succeed in qualifying or disqualifying this next phone call before this timer runs out, you are going to start disliking your business more and more until you get to the point that you're going to freaking quit. That's more accurate, right? That's more accurate. What do you do? What do you do? Remember that Keanu Reeves in Speed? Or the bus, they couldn't slow down under 55 miles an hour or it would explode. Okay. Yeah. You have 3 minutes, 3 minutes to do what? What is this whole section about? And this is the meat right here, guys, of being great at the phone. You have 3 minutes to determine their motivation and qualify or disqualify them. 3 minutes. Now, how are you going to do that? What makes this work? What moves you along in your objective here? One thing and one thing only. A question. That's it. Now, here's where we default to. We default to explainer guy mode, right? Explainer mode. But that's where we also lose the sale. That's where we also lose the deal. When you go into default mode, what do you tell me? When you're over there being Mr. Explainer guy, what do you tell me? You tell me, A, this guy's a salesman. This guy, B, is trying to sell me something. Or C, scam me out of something because he's awful pushy on trying to explain all this and how it works and like he's trying to sell me on it. I feel really uncomfortable now and I think I'll get out of here. That's what explainer mode does to people. Explainer mode, what I mean by that is when you're saying, when a homeowner says, hey, you know, this might be something I would be interested in, but probably not because, you know, of blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, well, here's the response that I've studied about this. Let me tell you, blah, 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 blah. You know, I've got a kid that is a little autistic, and it's a challenge because they communicate differently. Very high functioning guy though. But when you ask him questions, he goes into explainer mode. That's definitely his default mode. And he will talk and 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 talk. And you know, that's not so different than you and I that don't suffer with that disorder. We all default to this in some way. So you lose it when you default to this. Don't do it anymore. Stop it. Ask questions only. When I say only, I mean 90% of everything you're going to say in a qualification section is going to be phrased as a question. 10% maybe something else, fillers and stuff. So, y'all know Jeopardy? Where you pick a thing on the game show on TV, you pick the category, and then they say, they read the clue, and then you have to buzz in and say the answer, but like in the form of a question. Yeah. See, I would probably be pretty good at that because I practiced this so much in this particular stage of this conversation, because it's all about asking these questions. Have you guys ever watched Jeopardy and you seen somebody get on there and they had the right answer, but they did not phrase it in the form of a question and it became the wrong answer? Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you got, even if in this game, even if you got the right answer, if you didn't phrase it in the form of a question, guess what? You don't get the points. Okay. Facts right there. Okay. So always ask the questions. Everything in this section is going to be a question. What questions are they? What are some things we really want to know about? Anybody got an answer?
Condition.
Yep. Okay. I'm glad you said that because that's not on my list of top 4. Okay. The condition of the property. Yes, that's important. But these 4 things have to do with the seller. I wasn't clear about that. Not the property. These 4 things have to do with the seller and their situation. So what are those 4 things? Anybody?
When do they need to sell or move?
Okay. That is a great one. Right. Timing. You had better ask a question somewhere in the qualification section about whether they're wanting to sell today or sometime up the road. Here's how I like to say it. Mr. Homeowner, I am kind of in a hurry. Like I said in the agenda, I'm an investor and I'm trying to buy my next property deal. But here's the thing. I want to move pretty quickly on it. You probably don't want to move as quickly as I do. You probably don't even want to do this today, do you? What do y'all think of that?
Split.
Timing. Not only am I finding out his timing, but I'm also in that same phrase creating some urgency. Mr. Homeowner, I'm kind of in a hurry. Like I said, I'm an investor. I'm looking to pick up another property deal, but I kind of want to move pretty quickly on this. I'd like to do something today. You probably don't want to do something today, do you? I'm reeling them in now. With just a question. Just a question. Okay, so timing. You had better ask a question about timing. What's another question that you must ask the homeowner? What's another thing you better find out about? Anybody?
I guess length of ownership, or is that still house related?
Length of ownership. Yep. That's kind of house related, but not all house related. Here's how I use that. And I'm gonna judges. Yeah, we're gonna give it to you, Harvey, because here's how I say it, Mr. Homeowner. I'm stepping right from the agenda. This is the very first question, Mr. Homeowner. I saw your house online, and I'm just curious, what is it? How long have you lived there, and why would you be wanting to sell? Okay, you see how I stuttered and stammered and like my mind's freezing? That's literally because my mind's freezing. But it sounds okay, especially if you're on the phone. You sound like a real person, not like you're a telemarketer. Okay? Stop beating yourself up, guys, if you think you're not smooth enough, okay? It's not how you said it so much, you know, with the stuttering and the uhs and the whatever. It's you're missing some of these big questions. So I'll say, how long have you owned the property? Like you said, Harvey, and why would you be wanting to sell? Okay. So this is really what I'm finding out. Their why. What is their reason? You better ask that question. Better ask that question. If you don't ask that question, you are probably not going to close this deal, because you are probably not going to offer the right thing, because you have no idea what they're even trying to get done here and why. It's pretty simple when you think about it, right? But it's not second nature, guys. So don't feel bad if you haven't been asking this question. It's the very first question I ask. As soon as I hit the qualification section, I'll say, Mr. Homeowner, how long have you lived there and why would you be wanting to sell? What am I asking? I am asking them for their why. What is their reason for wanting to sell? Great answer, Harvey. What's another thing that we want to find out for sure about this homeowner? Anybody have an idea? Why do you guys always forget about the most important stuff? Look at that. Can y'all see me typing that? Right? What about the money? I'm just giving you a hard time. You guys are going to be like, he yelled at us tonight, Mama. Mama, he yelled at us. Nah, I'm not yelling at it. I'm picking on you. Can't forget about the money, because it's all about the money, boys, right? It's all about the money. Typically, money very, 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 very important on everything, right? How do we ask the question about money? Somebody give me an example of asking a homeowner about the money, the financial situation. Any ideas?
I guess how much you think it's worth.
Yeah, perfect. How much do you think it's worth, and what are you asking? Okay, no matter what they say, my next question is okay, how did you come up with those numbers? That's it. That's how you find out the answer to the money question, right? What's the last one? Anybody have an idea?
Listen.
Commitment. 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 So what do I mean by commitment? Anybody got an idea? This is what I call the pre-close. The pre-close, okay? The commitment. Get the commitment. Mr. Homeowner, I already asked you about your why, and this is what you said. Then we asked about the money, and this is what you said. And you said that you was interested in doing something with me today or with somebody today. If I'm able to make an offer to you, this is for, if I'm able to make an offer to you that meets those needs, is this something that you're ready to do with me today? Or probably not? You better ask that question. What if he said no? Wouldn't you want to know that then? I've had him say no. Happens all the time. Mr. Homeowner, I asked you about why. This is what you said. I asked you all this, you know, the timing, the money, all this. Is there any reason why we wouldn't be able to do business today if I made an offer that really fit you? No, I wouldn't be able to accept an offer today. Why not? My brother, I need to talk to him. My cousin, he's a part owner with me. My wife is at work. I'm not really the decision maker. You know, I said I was kind of willing to do something today, but I'm really not in a rush. I'm going to the lake this weekend, and I don't really want to mess with it. All the rest. Can you call me Monday? Wouldn't you want to know all that right now before you start getting into it deep? Remember, guys, we are still in the first 3 minutes of this phone call. We are in the first 3 minutes of this phone call. Wouldn't you want to know that he's not the right guy, that he can't make the commitment, that he's not ready today? Wouldn't you want to flush all that out right now before you go getting in deep with the guy and find out the hard way 30 minutes later that he got to talk to his cousin, the realtor, and then that cousin has another cousin that's an attorney? Believe me, you will kick yourself in the butt, right, if you don't abide by this 3-minute rule. Rule number 1 was always set the agenda. Rule number 2 is determine the motivation and qualify or disqualify them in 3 minutes or less. How do we do that? By asking these 4 questions. Why? Why are you wanting to sell? Okay. Money. How much is it worth? And what are you asking? Time. You probably don't want to sell today. This is something you want to do 2 months from now, right, Mr. Homeowner? That's a great way to ask that too. Get them chasing you a little bit. Number 4, if I were to make an offer today, are you in a position where you can make the decision and sign the agreements if it fits? Or are we just shooting Dixie here? Whistling Dixie. Nobody's going to be whistling Dixie anymore. Shit, I don't even know what that means. But, yeah. Anyway, I guess I won't miss it. So that's the qualification section. Now, to Harvey's comment was, well, what about condition of the property? What about the, you know, other things, you know, maybe what he owes and, you know, all this other stuff. Sure. But I usually ask those questions after I've gone through these 4 questions, because all those other questions is great information. If I'm going to do a deal, I'm going to have to know it. But they don't tell me anything about the motivation stuff. And I'm looking for a motivated seller. So I ask these 4 questions right up front pretty quickly. And 3 minutes or less. Y'all ready to practice? Y'all ready to practice? Remember, no explainer mode. Qualify or disqualify in 3 minutes or less. Asking these 4 questions. Y'all want to go through the questions again? Let's and actually let me leave them up on the screen too, because that'll help as we role play here tonight. These 4 questions. You guys see the 4 questions? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, they're not questions, they're more like hints. Okay. They're more like hints. Okay. Let me be the guy first making the call, and somebody be the homeowner, and I'll demo it for you. And I'm gonna throw the agenda in there too, since we can bang that out real quick. So let's practice it. Let's go through it, and then I want you guys to participate. We got 20 minutes left. If you guys want to spend 20 minutes role playing this, boom, let's hit it. Okay. All right. Who wants to be the homeowner? I'm calling you.
I'll go for it.
Okay, that sounds great. Let's do it. Ring, ring.
Hi, Harvey speaking.
Oh, hey, Harvey. Justin here. And I'm sorry, this is a strange call, probably, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at a property, or I was online, and I've misplaced the address, but I'm interested in it. You don't have a property for sale, do you?
Yes, I do actually. Yes.
You know, guys, pause. I have probably never said that shit ever in my life. I don't know. That's not how I do it. Could you do it that way? Absolutely. It worked. My point is just go with your flow. You know, get a little loosey-goosey, relax, breathe. This is not a test, right? So even if you're on it with a homeowner, it's not a test. The more authentic and real you are as a person, but professional and confident sounding, the better off you'll be. Okay, enough about that. Yeah, you got a property for sale?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, hey, I'm looking to buy another property. I want to get an investment property, and I'm kind of in a hurry to do something. I wanted to get some. I want to ask you some questions about that, and you can ask me some questions too. And if it's not a good fit, hey, it's not a good fit. You can tell me to hit the bricks. Is that okay?
Sounds fair. Yeah.
Okay. That was the agenda. Okay. I laid a roadmap. I asked for permission to ask questions, and I gave him permission to fire me. Okay. Now I'm moving on into the qualification section. Well, hey, this property we're talking about 123 Apple Cart Way. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, man. Hey, how long do you live there? And why would you be wanting to sell?
Yes, I lived here about 12 years. Have a new job out in Tennessee, so I'm just moving, relocating to take that new position.
Oh, okay. You're relocating because of work, huh?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's probably great news, right? I hope
It
it
is.
is.
It is. It is. Very good news.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, good for you, man. Good for you. You know,
Thank you.
I've got a buddy that had to move and take a job elsewhere, and it wasn't quite such a good story, man. I'm glad it's a good thing in your case. It's good. What's the purchase price, and what do you think it's worth?
I haven't thought too much about the purchase price, but I think it's worth around 200,000.
Okay, you think it's worth about 200,000, and the
Yes.
purchase price you say you're
I don't know. Around 150.
okay. How'd you come up with those numbers?
My neighbor sold his house for around that price a couple months ago, so I think that's a good price.
Okay, your neighbor sold it, a house that's very similar and everything, a
Yes,
few
yes.
months back, and
Yep.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've completed question 1. I've completed question 2, right? I've completed, I haven't completed 3 and 4. Okay. And so let's continue. I found out about the money now. I found out kind of where he's at with the money. Now the timing. Okay. Hey, you know, like I said, I'm looking to pick up something pretty quick here. You probably don't want to move fast on doing something with this, do you? I mean, you wouldn't want to do something today, would you?
Well, actually, I do. I mean, when I move, I don't want to have to pay, 2 payments here. So, yeah, I have a, tight time frame here.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm getting good information out of him too. You notice that? I'm getting some good information out of him during this role play. Every time I ask a question, I find out more about him. What do I know so far? I know that he has to move because he's got a job that he's got to take. Number two, I know that money, there's a big discount on this thing. Maybe not big enough. He thinks it's worth 200 and he's wanting 150. So he's flexible on price. I know that. What else do I know? Now I know he's so anxious to do something, he would do something today. Right? Now I'm going to move on to question number 4. Okay, well, I understand where you're coming from with the timing and everything. If I were able to make an offer that fits you today, is there anybody else involved or any reason why we wouldn't be able to do anything today?
No, I'm kind of the head on this thing here. So if the deal makes sense, I can certainly move forward today. Yes.
Great job, Harvey. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what, though? When you slow pitch me like that, I'll hit them out of the park every time.
Gotcha.
There it goes. Hey, the 4 questions. Now, it didn't take me very long, did it?
No.
Here's the point to the entire thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super motivated, 1 being this dude ain't motivated at all. Do I know where Harvey is on the scale now? Yeah. Harvey's high on the scale. Harvey's high on the scale. He's an 8 or a 9 because he answered all the questions with I'm ready to do something now. I'm flexible on price. I'm kind of in a hurry. I kind of have to do this. He's high on the scale. I'd say he's an 8, 9, maybe even a 10. Okay. I'm going to continue to talk to Harvey, and I'm going to see if I can get this to be a deal for me. And I found that out in about 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Rule number 3. Let's see here. How do I get it to do? All right. If they disqualify, you must get off the phone. It's okay. That's your job. What do you think of that rule?
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful rule. Yeah. If they disqualify, guys, just get off the phone. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to them. Well, I don't want to be rude. I got on the phone with this person and they just started talking about the house right away. I didn't get a chance to hardly say nothing. And they were telling me about all the improvements they made to it. And the tile floor is tavertine and they got the new columns out front wrapped again. And everything's looking real sweet. They got shingles now on top that are made of ceramic. This place looks like a drug lord's house, it sounds like. It only took her 27 minutes to tell me all the details about all this shit I don't really even care to know. Okay, in that case, you didn't set the agenda, right? If you went on to set the agenda, interrupt that person and set the agenda, and went on to ask a few of those questions, those 4 questions, you could still chop that time down a lot. Don't let these people run away with it. I have the rule, right? Rule number 2, disqualify or pre-qualify in 3 minutes or less. 3 minutes. And it's okay if they don't qualify. You're
I'm sorry, what is a definite disqualification for you? Motivation?
Definition. Yeah. So if I get the sense that Harvey is a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe I get the sense that Harvey's just a difficult son of a gun to work with. Maybe I get the sense that Harvey's one of them people that's just lonely as hell and they just glad somebody called today because they're going to talk my ass off. Okay. Maybe I ain't got the motivation and personally myself, the inspiration to deal with this shit today. They're going to disqualify. Okay. And in 3 minutes, I'm out. I'm looking to make money here. I'm not looking to build friends and make an old lady like me. And, oh, I think I reminded her of her grandson and his name is Justin too. And all this. I've heard it. Disqualify. Now, if they're a 5, I have to ask some more questions. I have to dig a little deeper. If they're a 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm just going to go ahead and qualify them right there. I'm going to start digging in deeper with them and finding out more emotional pay dirt, which we're going to talk about next week. And then I might have me a deal. I might have me a deal. If I don't do this, though, they're going to wear me out on the phone. 3 minutes or less, guys. I know I've beat that to death tonight, but it's kind of important.
So any time wasters out of there, you get them out of there.
Get rid of the time wasters. Get rid of the ones that aren't flexible. Get rid of the ones that are rude. Get rid of the ones that want to talk to you like nonstop, constantly, won't let you ask your questions, won't let you, run your game here. Just they'll make you hate your life.
Yeah, that's a relief because I always had the idea that I had to go through that crap just to get to my pitch. So having that freedom to fire the prospect is good to know.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah. Well, you're giving them permission to fire you in the agenda. And so it's assumed, right, that if they don't qualify to your specifications, that you could fire them too. And I think that's only logical. If it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit, man. You get off the phone in 3 minutes or less. If you're wasting time talking to these people, man, you're not going to have any energy. Your emotional energy will be zapped. Yeah. Your physical energy too. And next thing you know, you're not even breathing deep at all. You're shallow breathing, mouth breathing, sit here at the desk hunched over and your head's kind of down. And next thing you know, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to go watch Ricky Lake, reruns of Ricky Lake. I never watched Ricky Lake even when she was on. So you got to institute these rules in your phone calling. So you got to practice. Now, notice everything that I'm saying in this. Now we're kind of hitting the helicopter mountain peaks of the qualification tonight. Next week, we're going to talk about how to really, really become, like I said, an assassin in this department. And so don't miss that. But you'll notice in the role plays that we just did, everything I said is a question. I almost never said anything that wasn't a question. Okay. Let's try it one more time. Harvey, be desperately, ruthlessly horrible. Okay. So that I have to disqualify you because you're just that bad.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ring, ring. Hello?
Yes, Harvey. Yeah, Harvey speaking.
Hey, Harvey, Justin here. You got a property over at 123 Apple Cart Way?
I might. I mean, who are you again?
Well, I'm an investor. I'm trying to buy a property today, and I saw yours, and I like it. Wanted to ask you a few questions. You could ask me a few questions. If it's not a good fit, it's cool if you just tell me to go away. Is that all right?
guess can I start with one question for you? I mean,
Yeah. What do you got?
will you give me a full price offer? I mean, that's the only thing I want. If I can't get that,
Is that what you want? A full
Yes.
price offer?
yes, sir.
Are you flexible in any other way whatsoever? Like would you do something creative with me?
Creative how? What do you mean?
See, he's being a real tiger with me. He's not letting me play my game. He's already got me off track. Is this happening to you guys? Getting you off track? I'll teach you guys one day how to handle this guy a little bit differently, because I would normally tie in with this guy, but that's only because I've done it so long. You should disqualify this guy. Okay, let's keep going though, and make it even more clear to me that you are not the right sauce. I am not talking to the right guy.
All right.
Yeah, I could make you an offer that might be full price, but you're gonna have to work with me on it. I'll be honest with you. You kind of hit me here with that, and I don't even really know a lot about the place. I'm already off my game here. So,
Yeah, I just been burned so many times. I just want to deal with any shady folks.
Okay, well, I understand that. I mean, I'm just a guy trying to buy a place. So, where do I go now?
It's simple. Can you give me a full price offer or not?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to call you back.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Bye. That shit was horrible. I just demonstrated to you a horrible phone call. I would never make a phone call that bad, ever. I don't think. But I'm demonstrating this to you because this is literally what happens to folks.
Yeah.
The guy hit me right away. I was in the agenda. I got out of the agenda. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute. I want to ask you something." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "You gonna be able to do full price? Because I ain't doing working with nothing else." Boom. Effectively, it's like we were in a fight, right? And he just caught me with one. Oh, it staggered me because now I'm like, okay, I was going to ask you how long you lived there, and now I'm all out of whack. What do I do? I was even talking to myself when I said, okay, where do I go now? Because I'm like, what question do I do next? Have you ever been there in this panicky mode where the guy was just like, he threw you off and you're like, okay, what's the next question? Do yourself a favor and fire that guy. Get off the phone. You're off your game. You're off your agenda. You're off your flow, and you can't find the track back again. Bail. Jump. It's okay. There's lots more leads to get out there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's something about the chemistry between you two that just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It will happen. It has happened to me many, many, many times. Okay. Next week, I'm going to show you how to tie in a little bit more with this guy, though, and get around a lot of his BS. Okay. We're going to take the qualification stage up to the next level. But tonight, I have to accentuate these 4 questions. These 4 questions are super huge. Are there more questions? Oh, yeah. And you'll ask a lot more questions. Are they important? Yeah, some of them. But here's the 4 that you must never miss. You must never miss these. If you miss these 4, you are not getting a good judge on whether this guy's good or not on a scale of 1 to 10, and you're not setting yourself up for success. Okay? The 4 questions. Got to have these 4 questions. Next week, we're going to talk about how to get in a little more flow with those 4 questions and how to dig a little deeper and really, really, really control that conversation and coerce more emotion and more motivation from this guy, all by using questions. The same thing, more questions. I love you all. I'm very honored to be here.
Thank
You
you.
have no idea. Very honored to be here and very honored that you give me your ears for this long. I probably don't deserve it, but you are here. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are really, really cool people. You know, the world is as bad as it looks on TV. When you look at people and you talk to people, people are pretty cool. People are pretty cool. There's a few assholes out there. But in general, people are pretty cool. So your job is to wake up in the morning and not be a shitty person yourself, right? Okay. Love you guys. Shut up, money.